Happy Thursday to my favorite DC sports fans. What's up, y'all? It is your girl CWall here, tuning in on yet another Thursday. What's up, everybody? You know I gotta give y'all a chance to get on up in here. Cause who all going to the party after this? Who all going? Isn't that what the question is when people ask me, you ain't going to, who all over there? Who going? What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing? I'm seeing a whole lot of my peeps joining. Y'all come on in here. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Of course, I see the originator, Sherrod, CWall sports writer. Lydell, what's up? Cameron Mingo. What in the world is going on with the Wizards? We're going to give everybody a chance to get on up in here in the room. Because I know how social media is, and I know folks are going to go to the Versus music battle tonight. I'm going as well. But we got to talk sports first. Y'all. What's up, Tamika? Hey. What's going on, girl? Listen, y'all, what's up to everybody? I want everyone to say hello to my mother. I tell y'all, my mom watches every single show, and we got to shout her out each and every single time. So, hey, Mom. Got to say what's up to Steven from Hampton, Virginia. Listen, Hampton is my stomping grounds. I am a Hamptonian. So, I'm a proud Hampton alum, okay? Very proud. You all make sure you are sharing this show with your DC sports loving family and friends. I need you all to stay on for the long haul, because we're going to be talking about a lot this evening. I got to shout a few people out. I got to say what's up to our brother and CWall chaplain, because a family that prays together stays together, right now. I believe in that. Mazdak. Check in. I need one word. You all give me one word for how you all are feeling right now. How are you feeling? How's everybody doing? I pray everyone is staying safe and healthy. Check in. Let me know how you all are doing. And while you're doing that, I want to shout out the Goodwill Gestures Initiative. Every week I shout this initiative out. I have the pleasure of collaborating with some awesome people in the DMV, one of which I'm wearing their shirt, Team Bullard Basketball. Listen, you guys, we are still giving to those family members and families that are battling the COVID-19 pandemic. Not everyone is getting through this pandemic swiftly and at ease. There are several that are out here struggling. So if you know anyone that needs any type of support, please inbox me. Let me know. Every little bit counts. The pandemic is still going on, so the giving is still going on. So we're going to continue to do that as long as we possibly are blessed to be able to. Shout out to everyone who's continued to donate to the initiative. We greatly appreciate you. Gotta say what's up to the 85 South. I guess we gotta call you the Washington Football Fan Club. What's up, Randall? So good to see so many of you all feeling marvelous and great and thankful. That's all a good thing. And the proud owner of Team Bullard is on the show, Lawrence Bullard. So you all say what's up to him and make sure he gets you all a shout out. I appreciate it, because at least, I got my red. I always got to get a red shirt. But at any rate, listen, y'all, let's jump right on into this. Oh, wait, but first, because I think there's probably enough people here. Make sure you're sharing the show, because I'll probably say this 100 times because I have it in my notes. You all, tomorrow is Sherrod's birthday. CWall sports writer Sherrod, it is his birthday tomorrow. Today is his dad's birthday. So we definitely want to shout out Sherrod. Everybody give Sherrod a shout out. I want all happy birthday shout outs to Sherrod the whole entire show. Even when I'm dragging all of our favorite teams. Shout out happy birthday to Sherrod. We appreciate you and every single thing that you do. Your writing, your content is amazing. And people can't get enough of it. So I appreciate and I'm so blessed to have you on the team. Happy birthday to you, sir. I have it in my notes like a rack of times. So I'll probably do something real crazy. Like, did we already say happy birthday to Sherrod and to his father, Mr. Oliphant? Happy birthday to you, sir. Listen, y'all, we're going to have a good old time today. All right. We're going to get to the Washington football team. But there's a couple other things we got to get to first. Here's what I want to know. What have we learned during COVID-19 and sports being back? Go ahead and comment. Give all your happy birthday blessings over to Sherrod, wishing him many, many more. But I also want to get down into what have we learned about COVID-19 and sports. Tell me one thing you've learned since sports has been back. What have you learned? Share it with me. Share it with me. I really want to get into it. What have we learned? And while you all are sharing and dropping knowledge on what you have learned, I want to mention, let's talk about the Nats real quick, and then we're going to circle back. The Nats have canceled Winterfest. Winterfest is in January. You know, Winterfest is a big deal for the Nationals community. So, that's canceled. We also got to look at, with the Nats right now, a lot of key injuries. Not saying that the injuries will last always, but we got Strasburg is injured. Mad Max is injured. Former Astro Will Harris is injured. I don't know if you all got a chance to look at the game last night. Doolittle looked a little rough. But he's been looking a little rough since the Nats been back in action. But at the pitching position, struggling right out the gate. But we do know that the Nats are a late season team. So all we can do right now is hope that they show up and show out as they did last season. It takes them a while to get together. But when you're dealing with these injuries, I think that's something that we need to keep an eye on. Let's all of us keep an eye on that straight up. Because not starting out in an overwhelmingly positive light. So, we'll have to continue to watch that and see how it goes with the Nats. So let me tell you something about that I've learned going back to COVID-19 and sports. And some of you are saying, we need to appreciate everything, everybody. That is for the fact for sure, Tina. Others are saying, it can be stopped. I agree with that as well. As Jeffrey said, sports is my life. We're all here because we have a love of sports. We enjoy it so very much. And, when this first started happening, we all would get together on Thursdays and we would talk about how much we missed it, but we were still able to talk about it because there was always still something to talk about. So I'm watching now the NBA and how they have mastered, if you will. I don't even want to say mastered, but they have found something that works in dealing with COVID. If it's one thing that we can attest to, because we're seeing the NBA and the WNBA do it, it's that the bubble works. The bubble situation works. Now, the bubble isn't the ideal situation, right? For the players and all those involved. They're away from their families. They have to stay like on this campus all the time. They're getting tested daily. Seriously, they're getting tested daily. And when they're around the campus, they're around the bubble, if you will, they're wearing masks. When they're not on the court, you all can look and see out there at the bench area, they're wearing masks. The National Hockey League has also adopted the bubble approach. So we'll have to see how that bubble approach works, because I can tell you what's not working. What's not working is the Major League Baseball approach, which is no bubble. They don't have a bubble. The players didn't want to be in a bubble. And listen, I understand not wanting to be in the bubble. I get it. But I also understand, and I saw a comment, please forgive me because I can't recall who said it, but it is about money and politics. So as long as there's some money involved, we got to be creative about how we go about this thing, for sure. And to Randall's point, we're all vulnerable. We have seen athletes test positive for COVID and have to go through the recovery process and have to be quarantined away from their loved ones because it's so contagious. So as we're watching Major League Baseball is going to keep trying to go down this path. We do know that they have protocols in place. Some of the teams did not follow the protocols. So we saw a team like the Miami Marlins, prime example, that didn't follow the rules. Now you got like 19, 20 people in your camp, in your club, because they call them in baseball, in their club, that has tested positive for this virus. The protocols, the rules must be followed. To Jeffrey's point, no, you can't go out to the strip club. No matter how good the wings are there at that establishment, you should not go. So I think that I just wanted to talk to y'all about it and see what you all are thinking, because we're still so anxious, if you will, about football season, right? And training camp is moving along. All the Washington football fans, check in if you're a Washington football fan, okay? And I see Lee Evans, I see your comment. And I have to agree. It's like, wow, we know that there, and what we've been hearing is a message of how much is on the line from a financial standpoint. Kudos to the players who have made decisions to opt out for various reasons. Do the reasons even matter? No, to me, it does not. But it's a storyline that we all should continue to watch. I would encourage everybody to keep looking at the NBA, because the NBA is clearly now, the NBA and the WNBA are clearly now the leaders in professional sports and how this thing can work. It can absolutely work. It can. Now, it might be a little, testy here, right? Because like I said, none of the athletes, who wants to get tested every single day? But to do what they love to do it in a way where they get paid, that's what they got to go through. Now, what can we say, though, about the other leagues? Because see, the NBA and the WNBA, they don't have as many staff. They don't even have as many players, right? But there's something to be learned, because the NFLPA voted against the bubble as well. So there's still something to be learned from the NBA and the WNBA. And one huge thing is the bubble approach works. It's working. And so it was some kinks in there, right? Because you had some players that when everybody was going to Orlando, everybody couldn't go on that first trip. They had some players when they were still at home, they tested positive. Okay, you have to wait. I'll give the example of Thomas Bryant from the Washington Wizards. He tested positive for COVID. He couldn't go with everybody else. He couldn't go with the rest of the team. But when he got it together, when he was starting, to test negative, you have to have 2 negative tests. He's down there in the bubble. And it's several other, players as well that tested positive, and they went down to the bubble after they had 2 negative tests. And now they're being tested daily, but they're staying in the confines of this bubble. So I see, Christopher Cooper saying, it's not going to work. It's going to be a task because there's so many people. And I can tell you to that comment, here's what I don't think is going to work. I don't think it can work without the bubble approach. Somehow they will, I don't even know how. They will have to, whether they do it in different cities or what they end up doing, it'll have to be a bubble-like approach. But each team has so many players and staff. It's so much that makes the NFL engine run smoothly without a bubble, just in a regular season, that it's going to be interesting to see how things go. I see many folks talking about, we got to shut it down. I agree. I was fully anticipating absolutely no sports. I've now been intrigued by how the NBA and the WNBA has handled this situation. And I'm like, oh, this can work. But we also have to understand the NBA and the WNBA is such a smaller scale. So they may need to revisit that bubble approach. Seriously. Because we're talking about traveling, hotel stays, and then just hoping and praying that players do what they're supposed to do in terms of not going to hang out, not going to chill, wearing a mask. I mean, it's a lot to this. But I continue to watch and am intrigued, so much so, by how the NBA and the WNBA is handling this. Something to continue to watch. Let me shout out, I said something about the Wizards, but it was in regard to Thomas Bryant. I do want to shout out Monumental Sports and Entertainment's pledge to fully endorse the NBA's plan to create a charitable foundation and pledging $1 million every year for the next 10 years to fund skills training, mentorship, coaching, and pipeline development to create employment and career advancement in Black communities. Shout out to Ted Leonsis. Shout out. Big. I always got to plug. I always have to plug the community initiatives. When they're doing something in the community, if it comes through my inbox, I got to make sure y'all know about it. You probably already seen it all online, but it's very, very important. I don't want to get into the fact that the Wizards are still winless in Orlando. They have not won a game at all. And because it is Sherrod's birthday, did everybody say happy birthday to Sherrod and his dad? Both of them are watching the show. Sherrod and Mr. Oliphant, happy birthday to you all again. Because it's you all's birthday, and because Joy is probably like, please don't do it, I will not drag the Wizards on tonight. I'll leave it alone. because I have folks like Cameron Mingo and Russ McCray and Jeff Peterson who are saying everything that I would like to say, but we're not going to go there because it's Sherrod and Mr. Oliphant's birthday today. Well, Sherrod's is tomorrow. Mr. Oliphant's is today. I won't talk no. I'll just leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Washington football team, while we still got time. Washington football team, while we still have this time together. You know, speaking of Sherrod, something's in my eye. Speaking of Sherrod published an article earlier this week on Thomas Davis Sr. Okay? And it was timely because this week, one of the press conferences of this week was linebackers coach Steve Russ. So what I'd like to do is go through some of my highlights from, we're going to go ahead and just do it, right? Linebackers coach Steve Russ and the wide receivers coach. Jim Hostler. It's kind of funny because Mazdak mentioned, I don't know, did y'all check in if you saw any of these press conferences? But Mazdak had some feedback on the wide receivers coach press conference. But talking about Thomas Davis Sr. really quick. And I enjoy so much of what was said in this press conference because it was exactly what Sherrod had in his article earlier this week. Coach Steve says, and this is an excerpt from the transcript, "That's just how exceptional Thomas is as a leader. Everybody knows the career he's had, but just the man and the leadership that he brings is tremendous. You couldn't ask for a better example for some of those younger guys because nobody holds himself accountable as much as Thomas Davis." Then he goes on to say, when he doesn't live up to the standard that he set for himself, he'll be the first to tell you that. He can lead by word. He can lead by example. He's got a great presence to him. He's obviously got incredible credibility. And I think Thomas Davis is helping our room tremendously. So all of that is exactly what Sherrod had in his article earlier this week. A lot of the feedback on the article, and just in general, right, is that Thomas Davis is old. And he's old, I guess he is old in football years, But I'm going to go back to something that we have continued to discuss when we are on the live on a Thursday night, and that is the need for good leadership and how we can see that Ron Rivera and staff were very intentional on bringing that leadership mindset and that leadership pedigree into the locker room. It is so important. It is imperative because this is a lot of younger guys there. Unproven is what that's what most of the locker room is. Completely and totally unproven. So it's definitely, I believe, by strategic design that the coaching staff has placed someone like Thomas Davis Sr. in the locker room. If nothing else, to be a leader. And like Coach Steve said, he can lead by word, he can lead by example. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. And, just to continue to plug the article, if you haven't already, check the article out. It's on the CWall Sports and Entertainment page. And just understand, and he's going to compete. He's going to still bring that mentality of, I want a spot on this team. Let's be clear. I mean, he's not going to just be up here just patting everybody on the back. I mean, he's going to do all that, but he going to compete for a spot too. Let's be very, very clear. So I think that's another position competition to watch, and that'll be very intriguing, but also want to give the encouragement to the Washington football team fans that is yet another great presence to have in the locker room that will help this unproven squad that we have, because that's the reality. They're unproven. Let me move on, which brings me to this. The wide receivers coach press conference. Coach Jim Hostler. I think I saw Mazdak. Correct me if I'm wrong, Maz, if I got your comment wrong. I hope I didn't. But basically, he just didn't sound too enthusiastic. Coach, he's kind of like, whatever. So I definitely want to talk through some of that feedback. And when I'm looking up like that, it's because I'm trying to figure out, I know what I want to say, but I'm just trying to make sure I don't, slip up, because my mom is watching and I can't cuss in front of my mama, y'all. Go ahead and give her a shout out. Go ahead and say, Miss Waller, your daughter promises not to cuss on the show. On the question about depth at wide receiver, and hold that thought, Maz, about he could just be the type to not praise folks. I agree with that. But on the depth at wide receiver, he says right now that is really what we have, depth. We have a lot of young guys that really haven't played a lot, so everyone has a shot. On Terry McLaurin and what he needs to do to take that next step. You look at him last year, he's a young player. Not a lot of people had expectations of what he was going to be. Teams that they played didn't know him or weren't really concerned about him. That is something to do with your early years. Once you have success in this league, it is about expectations, managing expectations. It is going to be about now being the number one guy coming into the season. You're going to get more attention. So I want to hold that thought, everybody. Continue to hold on to these thoughts, all right? I don't want to say anything about that. On what he thinks this wide receiving group is lacking. Coach Jim says, well, we are young. The experience. We don't have a lot of experience. From that standpoint, it is hard to tell what we are lacking. We aren't quite sure because we haven't been down the road yet, just like any young player. Okay? Y'all still holding on to all these nuggets that I'm giving y'all? You still holding on to it? It was another nugget on how he evaluates players that don't have a ton of tape. Really, there is not a lot of tape on some of these guys, and I don't know them. I can finish the rest of it because, but I'm paying attention. The process for me is going through, giving them the information on how we want it to look, not just what we want them to do, but how we do it. And then again, besides Terry, that we know can play and has been out there, the rest of the group is really young. They are all in competition right now for those next receiver spots. We understand Terry can play. We knew that. That's why he was drafted higher. We know that his role is there. He goes on to say, the rest of the guys are all in a competition. I have no idea who the next two guys are right now. Immediate reactions. And then I know we all got a party we got to get to. Okay. Immediate reactions. Here's the thing. And I want you all to share your immediate reactions while I share mine. Just briefly. Try to be brief. It's all what people have been saying, essentially, right? It becomes a, we've seen, others in the business write articles on Dwayne Haskins essentially being set up for failure because they don't have anybody. Here's the reality. It is what it is. The only wide receiver that we can count on, that can play consistently, that prove that, is Terry McLaurin. It's the truth. And I believe Sherrod has said this in his articles previously. We have talent. You just don't know it yet. This year, and we are still going to assume that the season goes forward, the way they're handling training camp, no preseason, this is going to be interesting. And the competition is going to be fierce because these coaches have no problem saying, I don't know. I don't know these people. I don't know these guys. It's not a lot of tape on them because they didn't play a whole lot. We got to see. I don't know. I mean, that is where we are at, for sure, at the wide receiver position. And I want to bring up and continue to bring up, I'm a person who I will always tell you all, and I tell myself this all the time, use your clues. Use your clues. So when Washington went after Amari Cooper heavily, seriously, they really did. That was my sign right there. Oh, they want a veteran receiver. They want a proven receiver. Yes, they went ahead and signed Dontrell Inman the other day, and that's fine. But it's evident that that is a group that they're not. The only thing I'm certain of is that they're uncertain about them. And having that proven wide receiver is what they still desire and are looking for. And they don't have it just yet. They don't have it. They got Terry. Everybody else, if you want your job, you better find a way to keep it. There are no favorites. I mean, I guess there are, Terry, number one. Everybody else, figure it out. And to Mazdak's point, no, there wasn't. There wasn't much available at the position this year. We're hoping that AGG, Antonio Gandy Golden, I hope I said his name right, y'all. We're hoping that he lives up to that height. Losing Kelvin Harmon, that hurt. Losing any player hurts, right? But, to Mazdak's point, I wanted to bring that up with you all because it is yet another position group to follow and to pay attention to. And exactly what Mazdak said, and then we'll close, is the good thing is that unlike others, they not holding on to potential. I like that. I like that a lot. Don't hold on to potential. What is that? What is that? Nothing. Is what we're hearing. And we always remember anyway, hey, if they didn't bring them in, they not married to these folks. They don't have to keep them. Hey, I didn't draft you. I didn't sign you. So, hey. All remains to be seen. All stories to keep watching. And we'll see what happens. Y'all, that's the end of this Thursday show. Look, thank you all for hanging out, as you always do. Like we're saying on the thread here, shout out to all the essential workers. You all wash your hands, use your hand sanitizer, wear your mask. Please wear your mask, okay? Because if I see you out here without a mask, I'm sure enough going to say something to you. I'm going to say, where's your mask? Okay? Anyway, Thanks so much, y'all. Make sure you all are sharing the show with your DC sports loving family and friends so we can all enjoy this live discussion together. I will see you guys next week.